Hayawi huwa
dalili ya mvua
si matope,
ni mawingu.
Ni mawingu.
Na hiyo swali yako tunaijibu hapa Morning Cafe TV 47. Good morning.
Yes,
thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Yes, it did. I trust you slept easy and you woke it up well. It is the day, the crunch time is here. And of course, we are here to just give you a wall-to-wall, wire-to-wire coverage of the by-elections that is happening today in the constituencies that we know.
We're working with 22 electoral areas. Yesterday we talked about 24, but initially IEBC had gazetted those 24 areas, and then 2 areas were not contested, 2 wards rather, and that is Tembeli ward in Western Gishu and Metkei ward in Elgeyo Marakwet, and that is why we are talking about 22 out of the 24 that were initially gazetted. Now we have our team spread across all the 22 electoral areas. We're talking about 1 Senate seat, 6 National Assembly positions, and 15 members of county assembly wards. 18 counties are heading to the polls today. 181 candidates have been cleared by the IEBC.
Yeah, our reporters are standing at the ready. Kasipul, we are there. In Banissa, we are there. Baringo County, we are there. Mbeere North, we are there. Ugunja, we are there. All the wards, even in Baringo here in Nairobi, we are well covered this morning. And of course, we're talking about Malava, which also will be one of the very, very tense area where we've seen skirmishes a bit because of some electoral offenses as well. But our reporters are standing at the ready, and we are firing on all cylinders. As even as that will be happening, we'll be having a panel here just to go also give us a blow-by-blow analysis of what is happening in each and every constituency.
Once again, hiyo swali yako tunaijibu hapa leo. Stay with us. You're watching Morning Cafe.
Yes, thank you very much. And of course, you shall be also, I can see today we are all covered. We're having some live views coming with the live pictures from every constituencies, and we'll also momentarily be giving you what is on the front pages of the dailies as well.
Absolutely. In a short while, even as we give you a breakdown of the areas in details, the 15 county assembly wards, I'll be telling you that one by one. Ningapi usichoke, that is why I'm here for you.
Right.
The National Assembly positions, pia nitakueleza, I know you've alluded to it, but we only have 1 senatorial seat, that is in Baringo County. So of course the voting group in Baringo is a bit larger as compared to the other 21 areas, because we are working with constituencies and of course just wards, but for Baringo it's the whole county rather.
Indeed. And of course, this is doubted to be one of the most consequent by-elections because everyone is using it as a barometer to test whether we are all fit as IEBC, right, for the 2027 by-elections. Even you looking at the dailies is about moment of truth. Crunch time is here. So this also will be gauged to see whether we have voter confidence. We have a trust for the new IEBC, which has new faces, and we've known from the United Opposition, they've been raising hesitations regarding also the credibility of some of the officials of IEBC. Some of them have been embroiled in what they are claiming to be schemes to rig the elections or to interfere with some of the constituencies as well. So also we shall be doggedly following some of these accusatory fingers who have been raising those concerns as well from the United Opposition to hear how that will be panning out as well. Right, you can see live pictures there coming straight from Mbeere North there. And I've woken up, right, way up and alley, 6 on the nose. Everyone has been on the ground, and we can see IEBC officials with the tie-ups there, making sure that the ballot boxes are well secured, and they're putting their ducks in a row there so that the voters will be coming in to cast their votes. This is Mbeere North, and our reporter Mike Kagwongo is, of course, on the ground right now. We shall be joining him momentarily, but these are just live pictures for you. And you can see they've woken up right up and early, and now they are filing up to cast their votes. And
This exercise, of course, begins right now, 6 a.m. all the way to 5 p.m. But the IEBC has clarified or has assured areas that in case of anything that might hinder that exercise, past 5 p.m., then there will be some exclusion for them and they'll be able to just extend their time for those particular areas. This is Mbeere North. We are talking about 55,124 registered voters in this area, and of course we'll be joining my colleague Mike Kagwongo in a short while to give us everything in details, the atmosphere there, what is happening, even as we continue to give you a wall-to-wall coverage on everything that is taking center stage on the 22 electoral areas that we're looking at.
Right, and remember also Mbeere North is one of the pivotal concerns for everyone, especially for Mudendu. People who are asking which is a real Mudendu? Yeah, is it the Njeru or Mudendu that will be, of course, on the ballot paper? And that has been contentious because people are saying that the IEBC never did their, of course, good work in terms of making sure that they've done their background checks so that they can know whether this allegations of corruption that is still hanging on Mudendu is also, of course, taken care of. So that also is a bone of contention that we'll be following as well. All right,
Dibal, I want to take our viewers to Baringo County. This is our colleague, Mike Charlo, on standby to bring us up to speed with the atmosphere in Baringo County. As I can already see, there's a lot happening in the background. People are already up and early to cast their votes. Mike, good morning. How is the mood in Baringo this morning? We do understand that as of the day before yesterday, there were a little bit of floods that were reported there, but I know that changed, polling stations were changed. But bring us up to speed with the atmosphere in Baringo County this morning.
Indeed, thank you so much, Nodida, with Dibala Inea. We're coming to you live from Kabarnet. This is the Kabarnet Boys High School where this polling station is stationed. It's about 10 minutes past 6 a.m. and all is set, everything is ready. If we can just move to get to see the whole process, this is where the lines will actually be, but at the moment, no one has arrived at this particular polling station. Just one person who has already started the process of voting. We can see a guy verifying his identity. This is the first spot after you get to this particular polling station. You have to verify your identity to check your eligibility for voting. You can see his identity card, his national ID is being scanned before he can be approved to voting. If we can just get close to see the whole process, Eliud. His identity card is being verified using the KIMS kit to ensure and ascertain that he is ready to vote the senatorial seat here in Baringo County. Remember that we have 6 contestants of this particular seat in Baringo County. We have Vincent Chemitei, a UDA candidate, Wakili David Kipruto, who is likely to give him a stiff competition. Shadrach Kibet, Samuel Bonon, Benjamin Chebon, Daniel Kipchirchir, and of course all the 6 are gambling for 281 votes from the verified voters in this particular county. And since there is a glitch, kabla pengine niweze kuzungumza naye kabla aweze kusonga, pengine mmefanya verification na naona anatoka anaelekea upande wa pili. Kwa hiyo kitambulisho chake kimekataa hapa, anaelekea huko. Dibala and Odida will be following this particular guy. He is the first person to arrive in this particular polling station just to get to see the whole process of voting here. Remember, his ID has been rejected in that particular polling station, and he is getting to another station for verification before we move to. Before he is handed actually a ballot paper, he will have then to go to the secret polling booth before casting his vote. Dibal and Ann, I think his identification card has been verified. He's now being handed a ballot paper. He's now being handed a ballot paper where he will have to go to the secret booth before performing and casting his vote to one of the 6 senatorial candidates of Baringo County. He's being handed a ballot paper. The ballot paper has then to be stamped, and he will be heading to a polling booth to cast his vote before the first person in this particular polling station actually votes. He has received his identity card and is being handed his ballot paper. He'll then cast his vote. He'll then vote to the candidate of his wish. Remember, we have 6 candidates in Baringo senatorial seat, a seat that was left vacant after the death of former Senator William Cheptumo later February, and he will cast his vote. This is the particular lines that were later in the day, maybe. Remember, it's just by elections, and it has seemed not to attract many people as early as now. But Ann and Dibal, this is the particular station where individuals will be lining before getting to the 2 polling stations. We have here at Baringo, Cabernet, actually. Remember, this is also a tallying center for the Baringo Central. And of course, we are keeping an eye on this and much more before we let our viewers throughout the day to get. Remember, many votes, the votes will be tallied at this particular tallying station. Remember, it is this Baringo Central tallying station, and also a few meters from here we also have a county tallying station. Ann and Dibal, we are here. Stan, our lenses open just to make sure our viewers are up to date to whatever happens. Back to you in studio.
Before I let you go, Charlie, if maybe you could take just one question. We do understand that we are working 281,053 registered voters in Baringo Baringo County rather, and I do understand that we are only seeing one candidate, and of course we are hoping that that will change in the course of the day. But are the locals aware of the changes that were made with regard to the transfer of the polling stations after the floods?
Yes, sure. And yesterday we had a conversation with the Baringo County Commissioner. He assured us that the 3 polling stations which were flooded as a result of rising water in Lake Baringo and Bogoria were actually transferred to different areas, and the residents are aware, and they also have a chance to cast their votes in that particular different area. Of course, the returning officer also assured us that the 3 polling stations, the new polling stations that were established as a result of flooding in Baringo and Bogoria, are also capacitated enough to make sure that the voters are actually the voting process is seamless and that everything is okay for them. And remember, the 3 polling stations which were transferred, the voters had nowhere else to vote. Remember, the voting register, the one which is being used now, is the voting register that IEBC took in the national elections in 2022. So he assured us that the residents were aware. The residents were aware, and that the 3 polling stations were set aside, and everything will be okay to them. The residents will be allowed to vote. Anna.
Mike Chalo for that particular update, and of course we'll be bringing you in later on in the course of the day for you to tell us everything as it unfolds in Baringo. I want us to cross over to Mbeere North, where my colleague Mike Kagwango is currently on standby. I do understand that, as we've seen earlier, there is a lot of activity already going, looking all nice and glamorous in Mbeere North this morning. And you're looking sharp as well. Mike, good morning. How is the atmosphere in Mbeere North?
Thank you so much, Anne Odida. Indeed, it's from mic to mic, from Baringo to Mbeere North, where we are standby after just about 10 minutes ago or 17 minutes ago, this Chicago Hall polling station has been opened officially to mark the long-awaited day that the residents of this particular area were waiting to make sure that they conduct this particular exercise. This stream or this station consists of 3 streams that also consist of about 565 registered voters. That means that this station got about 1,695 registered voters. A section of them have already arrived to make sure that they conduct this exercise earlier enough before they continue with their daily shows. With me here is one of the voters that has already casted her votes. Labda kama unaweza kuja hapa tuambie, kwa nini umeamka mapema? Utaangalia kamera. Kwa nini umeamka mapema hivi leo kuhakikisha kwamba unapiga kura katika kituo hiki? Na jina lako?
Jina langu naitwa Esther, na niliamka mapema ndio nikuje nitimize kupiga kura, ndio tutafute mwenye atatuongoza vizuri kwa hii Mbeere North.
Uchaguzi mdogo mara nyingi unachukuliwa na wengi kana kwamba sio wa maana sana. Watu hawaamki mapema na hawaji wengi. Watu wametokea sana leo hii na mapema kuhakikisha kwamba wanapiga kura. Unaweza unadhani kuna utofauti na ile general election?
Uchaguzi huu mdogo wakati huu inaonekana ikiwa wa maana sana, haswa Mbeere North. Watu wamejitokeza wengi, na ninafikiria tutaendelea kutimiza siku hii ya leo ikuwe siku mzuri, na watu watokezee wengi zaidi ndio watimize mahitaji ya Mbeere North.
Mara nyingi wa Kenya wanakaa nyumbani wakisubiria jioni waweze kuja kupiga kura. Unaweza waambiaje wale ambao bado wanakanyaga blanketi wakisubiria masaa ya jioni waweze kuja kupiga kura?
Naweza waambia wa Kenya wenye wako manyumbani kwao waamke ndio wakuje wapige kura, ndio tupate yule kiongozi atatuongoza kwa Mbeere North.
Unataka kiongozi wa aina gani?
Kiongozi atatuangalia vizuri mahitaji ya mwananchi mdogo, atakuwa anatuangalia vizuri.
Asante sana, shukran. Labda niseme na mwingine hapa. Mamangu, habari ya asubuhi. Na jina lako, unaitwa nani? Utaangalia kamera ile, alafu tuambie kwa nini umeamka mapema hivi kuja kupiga kura leo?
Nimekuja kupiga kura hivi mapema ili tuweze kupata kiongozi ambaye tunamtarajia. Ambaye ataangalia maslahi ya wananchi, maji, elimu, angalie maslahi ya barabara.
Hivi umeamka mapema ili uende ufanye kazi zako, ama bado unaenda kusubiria matokeo baada ya jioni?
Naenda kushuhudia matokeo jioni. Yes.
Wakenya mara nyingi wanasubiria jioni waweze kuja kupiga kura, lakini leo hii naona ni kana kwamba watu wamejitokeza sana. Unaona hii by election tofauti na chaguzi ndogo zingine zimepita. Wewe ulikuwa wakati wa mlolongo vile vile?
Wakati wa mlolongo nimekuwa kwa hii secret ballot, lakini vile nimeona wadeo tumejitokeza mapema ili tuweze kumaliza pia mapema, turudi makwetu. Pia ili juu ya usalama pia ni vizuri kuweza kuchagua na mapema turudi nyumbani.
Utaambiaje wale ambao bado wako nyumbani?
Ningewaambia wajitokeze, tumchague kiongozi ambaye atatuongoza vizuri, aangalie maslahi yetu kama wananchi wa Mbeere North, na ambaye anaelewa hii area vizuri.
Wewe ambaye umejitokeza mapema, umeona usalama ukoje? Kuna wale ambao labda wanahofia kwamba wanaweza kosa kuja kupiga kura kwa sababu ya kukosa usalama. Umeona usalama ukoje? Hali ya mandhari ikoje?
Kwa sasa naweza sema usalama umeimarika kabisa. Kuna security officers, wananchi wanakuja kujipendea kwao. Usalama umeimarika kabisa. Yeah.
Asante na nakutakia kila laheri. Shukrani za dhati mama.
Asante pia.
Asante. Perhaps I can talk to one more person, then we wind up. Njoo hapa tafadhali mzee wangu, kisha tuambie jina lako, tuambie ni kwa nini umekuja kupiga kura na mapema hivi, utaangalia kamera hii.
Majina yangu naitwa David Kenywa. Nimekuja mapema kupiga kura hivi ndio ni ambao mwenye atakuwa aniongoza, na nilikuwa nataka kwanza tubadilishe uongozi.
Hilo umelionaje? Umeanzaje kisha ukamaliza aje?
Imekuwa sawa, hakuna tashwishi na hakuna usumbufu. Kila kitu inaenda sawa.
Utaambiaje wale watu bado wako nyumbani?
Wale wako nyumbani watokee wachaguane, ndio kila mtu aweze kupata kiongozi mwenye atakuwa anamuongoza.
Shukrani na kila laheri. Asante. And Odida, indeed, those are section of that's a section of residents here or voters at Chicago Hall, whereby about 1,695 voters are expected to cast their votes here up to about 5 p.m. This particular station was opened exactly at 6 a.m. That means there will be no any extension. According to IEBC officials, they said if at all a particular station will be delayed to be opened about 6:20 or 6:30 or 6:10, maybe that particular time will be added or included during the open or the closing moment. So this particular station was opened at exactly 6 a.m. and that means it will be closed at about 5 p.m. We will be crossing and traversing across the constituency and all the 134 polling stations to bring to you a glimpse of whatever will be happening and to make sure that we showcase to the residents of Mbeere North constituency and across the country whatever will be unfolding across this particular constituency. Back to you, Ann Odida from Mbeere constituency. My name is Mike Kagwango.
Thank you, Sana Mike, for that update, and I'll be coming back to you in a few so that you can tell us everything status of security in Mbeere North as it unfolds hour by hour. I can see Violet Aumer on standby as well in Malava. Good morning, Violet. This is a hotly contested seat as well. But how is the mood in Malava this morning?
Thank you, Anodida. Actually, it's quite a chilly morning here in Malava, but we were here in Malava at around 5:30. But at that time, we had IEBC officers and also army officials and the police just around to preparing just to ensure that all is well, and of course the elections starts as they had planned. But as we are right now in Mukongolo, St. Michael's Mukongolo, this is actually where one of the polling centers are here in Malava constituency. We're expecting 94,000 447 voters will be able to come and cast their votes. But here at Mukongolo, this is actually one of the centers in Malava, and also a center that the UDA candidate, David Ndakwa, will be coming to vote anytime. Of course, we'll just be keeping tabs to ensure that whenever he comes, we'll be able to get him, when he is voting. But actually here at Mukongolo, St. Michael's Mukongolo, the voting started at around 6:06, and the first person that actually voted, I am here with her. Please, kuja kidogo mama, tuambie majina yako. Nimeona umekuwa mtu wa kwanza kabisa kuja kupiga kura, namba uangalie huku. Umekuwa mtu wa kwanza kabisa, tuambie majina yako na umekuja saa ngapi?
Edith Nyangala, nimefika hapa saa 11:30. Kupiga kura, nataka mtu wangu apite asubuhi.
Okay. Umekuja kupiga kura ndio urudi nyumbani ufanye shughuli zako ama vipi?
Nataka nimalizane tu na kura ndio niende hata nikunywe chai. Sijakunywa chai.
Okay. Wewe kwa wewe unataka kiongozi aina gani, kiongozi akufanyie nini haswa wakati huu ambao umeweza kujitokeza kumpigia mbunge wako kura? Nataka
masomo iende mbele. Biashara, mimi mwenyewe ni mfanyi biashara, nataka biashara zangu ziende mbele.
Sawa. So that is actually the very, very first person who came to vote here at St. Michael's Mukongolo Primary School. And as I said, this is actually a center that the UDA candidate, David Ndakwa, will be coming to vote here. And of course, we will be talking to some of the locals here to, share with us what they are planning and the kind of a leader they need from the kind of leader they expect as a member of parliament. Malava constituency, actually the seat was declared vacant after the passing of the late MP Malulu.
Thank you.
Who passed early this year. And of course, members here, or rather locals of Malava constituency, they have been without the member of parliament for about 9 months. And so for them, it's an opportunity just to be able to, get a member of parliament that will represent them. Here in Malava constituency, actually, we have 9 candidates, although earlier on we had some of the people declaring that they are going to support other candidates, but on the ballot papers they already printed, and of course we will be having other candidates to they will be coming to vote. Locals will be coming to vote for their candidates here in Malava constituency. As I said, we have 9 candidates on the ballot, among them DAPK's Seth Panyako and of course David Ndakwa. Actually, as much as we have 9 candidates on the ballot, people have actually seen it as a 2-horse race between DAPK and UDA. But all said and done, after the last person cast the votes and the votes counted, then we will be able to know who will be the next member of parliament here in Malava constituency. And as I said, we'll be keeping tabs just to ensure that we keep our viewers at TV47 posted on what is going on here in Malava constituency here in Kakamega County. I take it back to you, Anodida, if you have any question, maybe.
Thank you so much, Violet, for that. We can already feel her excitement there. The First Lady you just talked to about being the first person in St. Michael's Mukongolo to cast her vote this morning. And of course, we'll be coming back to you to just assess the status of security. Once again, we do understand that this is a hotly contested area. As you can see on your screen, we have my colleague Elizabeth Atieno on the other side. This is Ugunja constituency, Siaya County. Elizabeth, good morning. How is the atmosphere in Ugunja?
Well, a very good morning to you, Ann Odida. As you have rightfully put it, we are coming to you live from Ugunja constituency, and we are in Olumba Primary School, which happens to be in Ugunja ward, one of the 3 wards in this particular constituency. The other 2 wards are Sidindi and Sigomere. For now, the voter turnout is quite low. The place is deserted. We have only seen about 10, at most 10 voters making their way here. And the polling station was opened as early as 6 a.m. Actually, we came here at 5:30 and all the IEBC officials are already on standby, making the necessary preparations. And at exactly 5:58 a.m., the polling station was open for people to begin casting their votes. Of course, this is a by-election that has attracted 10 candidates, including, of course, ODM. The candidate who will be vying under the ODM ticket, that is Moses Omondi. We have also Orodi Odhiambo from Wiper. So we'll be just traversing different polling stations to see just where they will be casting their votes, and also the residents, and in terms of security, how is the security as well in this particular area. So if my camera person could just pan around and just show you the situation here on ground. Of course, the security personnel are on standby, just making sure that security is upheld. Also, we have seen a number of voters already walking in. At least 3 people have casted in their votes so far. And if perhaps I could take our viewers through what happens when a voter just walks into this particular polling station. So the first thing the voter does is he or she presents the identification card or the passport. And then secondly, the voter will the voter details will be identified and authenticated using the KIMS kit. Of course, this is a role undertaken by the polling clerk. Thirdly, the voter will be issued with a stamped ballot paper. Then they will mark the ballot paper in a private booth. Thereafter, they will cast the ballot paper inside the ballot box. Thereafter, the voter's finger will be marked with a marker pen to ensure that they do not sort of come back and vote for a second time. And then the voter will now leave the polling station once they have casted in their votes. As I have said, this is a race that has attracted 10 candidates. I've just mentioned 2, but let me just be fair and mention perhaps all the 8 remaining candidates as well that I've not mentioned. We have Benson Obolo Otieno from the United Green Movement. We have Eric Ofiro from Jubilee Party, Vincent Olengo from Kenya Moja, Frederick Ochiel from the United Democratic Movement, Lilian Akinyi from the National Alliance Party, Maurice Okumu from the Liberal Party Movement, Chris Budo from KANU. So this is a by-election, of course, for the parliamentary seat, a seat that fell vacant following the appointment of former MP Opiyo Wandayi as the CS for Energy. Now, this particular constituency, that is Ugunja, is going to witness a major shift in terms of the political landscape, bearing in mind that Opiyo Wandayi has served for a record 3 terms since he was elected in the year 2013. So we are going to see fresh blood in Parliament, and they are going to see maybe something new in terms of legislation, registration, and also oversight. Representation and oversight, rather. So we will be pitching 10 to be traversing across all the 116 polling stations right here in Ugunja constituency to just see what the situation will look like right here in this particular constituency. And yesterday, the returning officer, that is Dennis Omari, just assured residents that indeed there will be security, and he urged residents rather to uphold peace during and even after the by-elections. So we will be seeing what will be happening as the 60,114 registered voters from this particular constituency cast their votes, just to see the level of preparedness, security as well. And speaking of security, 232 police officers have been assigned to the 116 polling station to ensure that peace is upheld. And so we also had the IEBC Vice Chairperson, that is Fatima, making her way here yesterday also, and just commending the residents for the peace they have upheld during the election and the campaign period, rather. A campaign that lasted from the 8th of October all the way to the 24th of November 2025. So we will be pitching tent here to see what will be happening. Right now, we will just be going to a different polling station to see how the turnout is. But as I've said, here in Olumba Primary School, the place is still deserted, but it's too early to tell. We are hoping that the numbers will rise as the day continues to unfold and as things unfold here and across all the 116 polling stations. I take it back to you in studio, Anne.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth Atieno, for that particular update. And this is a relatively calm area, just as you've mentioned. And we'll be coming back to you just to hear something from the locals of this particular constituency with regards to how they feel about the new dawn that they're about to experience. I know you've mentioned that this is the very first time they will be experiencing change. But let's cross over to Kilifi County. This is Magarini constituency, and my colleague Elizabeth Mutuku is on standby. Liz, good morning. How is the atmosphere in Magarini this morning?
Good morning. Here at Magarini, one of the areas and constituencies facing by-election, unlike other regions where my colleagues are saying it's cool and very chilly morning, here it's quite humid. And we've been here since 5:30 a.m. and the process commenced as it was planned, that is 6 a.m. We managed to find the first voters in this space. I am in Kwandomo, one of the polling stations. And according to Alutalala Mukwana, the commissioner, one of the commissioners of IEBC, has assured us all the challenges which have been mentioned, especially by different political divides, have been addressed. And I remember also, I would like also to tell you about this region. It has 81,000 voters and 193 polling stations. And also, it has also security has been beefed up. And just to remind you that there have been allegations that there could be voter staffing, but Alutalala Mukwana, Commissioner of IEBC, has assured Kenyans that if this polling station, for example, has 700 voters, it can never be changed, and the process will go on through the KIMS kit. That is, it's not manually, as it was alleged by some of the political leaders. But earlier on, he had something to say. I would like us to play that, and then I will speak to some of the voters here to hear how their experience has been.
Thank you. I'm here at Kwandomo polling station for purposes of observing how the stations open, how the pre-opening and post-opening of the stations are conducted, and to ensure that the processes are okay. So far, everything looks okay, everything is calm. But most importantly, I'm impressed by the presence of the security here. As you can see for yourself, this really is an assurance to the voters that all is well. We have sufficient security, and we are confident that the day will turn out okay. We'll close the polling station okay, and tomorrow morning, by tomorrow morning, we should be having the names of the winners of Magarini constituency election.
Are all systems in place? Are they working? Because already we can see voters are here.
Yes, as you can see, the voters are here. The systems are working. If you look at that particular polling station 001, you can see that they're already voting. So the KIMS kits are working, the systems are working. There is no incident as I speak. And from here, I'll move to many other wards. We have 6 wards in Magarini. We'll make sure that we at least sample as many of them, just to be sure that everything is seamless and that the voting is peaceful and that there is no hitch. Where there is a hitch, of course, it will be resolved. Remember, even if the first kit will be failed, we have a multiple layer of replacements in terms of backup. So we have no cause to worry.
When you say in terms of backup, what exactly it is?
What it means is, you see, technology, you have to make sure that in case there is a hitch, there is a glitch, you have a way out. So what you have done is that you can, if it fails, you have a backup kit, so that there's no any one time when we should not carry on with the elections because a kit is malfunctioning. That is just a precaution, but so far we are confident everything is okay.
That means we can vote manually. One can vote manually and still vote.
No. There is no room for voting manually.
No, I'm only asking. There were concerns also from some of the political, not really aspirants, but political divides, on the question of voter staffing, among other things?
No, Liz. You know, yesterday I was able to clarify some of these issues. There is no such thing as voter staffing, even ballot paper staffing. Assume that there is ballot paper staffing. If assuming somebody goes away and does his own or her own thing, the number of people entitled to vote in this station, for example, the maximum is 700. Maximum. You may have 57, you may have 100, you may have 200, but the maximum is 700. No ballot paper is given out until the voter is identified biometrically. So if you go and staff there, where would you get the owners of those ballots that are staffed to come and be identified biometrically here? You know, some of these things that are being spoken out there really baffles the Commission, because we know that you cannot go staffing there and then bringing that particular staff ballot boxes to the tallying center. What about the Kim's Kids record? These are electronic gadgets and they have audit trails, they have footprints. They have digital footprints. So even if somebody was to go that berserk and do it, how will he then connect that with the footprint that will be missing anyway from the Kim's Kit? So it's not possible.
So from where you are seated, you assure Kenyans and residents of this region there is nothing of that.
I have assured the people of Magarini, as I should the rest of the country, that we are going to conduct these elections in the credible, transparent and fair manner, because that is the job that you are given and you're guided by the Constitution. Hakuna kando kando hapa. Kando kando itakutoa kamasi mamangu. Haina haja.
And of course that has been Mukwana who has given the residents of this region assurance of their voting process being as smooth and seamless as it can be. But also there are Kenyans who are queuing here to vote, and I would like to hear from one of them how the process has been. Umekuwa namna gani, umepiga kura na imekuwaje?
Iko sawa, haina shida, flow ina flow vizuri. So hakuna tatizo lolote. Kura iko sawa. Kila mtu amejitokeza vizuri na anapiga vizuri, uko quiet na kwa very simple.
Hamna, hujashuhudia changamoto yoyote?
Hakuna changamoto yoyote, kila kitu iko shwari.
Asante sana. And of course, Kenyans here and voters are being identified in that space, as well as the other side there, and then they proceed to voting. If Brian can zoom some of the voting booths we have here, and also the security here has been beefed up, not only here but also at the tallying center, where one of the candidates, that is Harrison Kombe, is expected to vote. That is Gongoni vocational training, Mapimo vocational training, where we are headed, and we shall be updating you of what is happening there. Back to you in studio, Odida.
Right, thank you so much for that detailed update, Elizabeth Mutuku, on Magarini constituency. Now, Magarini constituency is very interesting because there is a by-election there after the nullification of the 2022 results for the Member of Parliament in that particular area. The outgoing MP from the 2022 general election, that is Harrison Kombe, who is still contesting this time around, had his election challenged by a rival candidate, that is Stanley Kanga, who is still his rival candidate in this particular by-election. Elizabeth Mutuku, I'll be bringing you in later on in the course of this show, but let's cross over to Kasipul, a hotly contested seat, as we've seen during the days of the campaign and even days before that. But Sydney Chazima, how is the atmosphere in Kasipul as you can assess this morning?
Well, a very good morning to you, Anno Dida from studios. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we are all rejoicing in it. It is also the day that the IEBC made, and only those who will emerge top in the evening will be rejoicing in it. We are right here at Agorosare Primary School in Kasipul constituency, where it is one of the designated polling stations. Remember, they are 142 spread out across the 5 wards of this constituency, and the activities here began at around 5:30, where we saw a lot of voters coming in and streaming in and checking their details and being allocated the classes around here, or the streams. And I can tell you there are around 7 streams in this particular polling station. And as you can see, the activities are already going on as smoothly as you can see. There have been no issues recorded so far, and we've spoken to a few of the people here. They are telling us that they are upbeat about this exercise. It has been conducted as smoothly as possible as far as time and how it has been managed so far. And what I can tell you as well, Odida, is that this particular polling station is where ODM's candidate Boyd Were will be casting his vote later on during the day at around 10 a.m. and we shall be here to give you that update as well. So what you can see on your screen right now is just an IEBC official just guiding one of the registered voters and finding her name so that she can locate the stream where she will head into and cast her vote. This is something that has happened from around 5 a.m. and we've seen it being very as seamless as possible. And I can also report that the police officers here have seemingly had an easy time. There haven't been as much incidences as we projected or had been expected. So we've seen them just directing people that after the voting, they should be heading out of the station, and no one is allowed to stay here in what they call in their political terms kulinda kura. Ni kitu ambacho hatujaona kwa sasa. And what I can tell you, an observation as well, is that it might be catastrophic, I can say, for someone who says that they are banking on the youth vote, if they're campaigning on a youth vote, because an observation we've made here is that most of the people who have turned up to vote here are elderly people. Most of the people who have turned up here are elderly women, elderly men. The sight of youth is, I can say, pockets of youth have turned up here. So it's kind of a worrying sight for someone who has really stressed on campaigning on the youth vote. But I'm hoping that as the day goes by, that will be something that will be changing, and the youth will be turning up to vote. My camera person Kakai is just heading into one of the streams here, so we can give you a clear picture of how this exercise is continuing. So you can see the officers here from the IEBC just helping one of the registered voters to get a peek of the ballot and head into possibly cast his vote at the booth right there at the corner. You can see these other officials here just seated, and some of the agents from the candidates who are seated here just to observe how the exercise is going on. So far so good. All things are running smoothly. Maybe we can just head out and give you a perspective of other streams as things are happening. And I can also report, Odida, is that independent candidate Philip Aroko and his entourage, I believe, will be voting at Kachieng Primary School, which we shall also be heading there to give you that update. So far so good. We are here, and maybe if my camera person Kakai can just head this way so we can get a glimpse of someone who has already cast his vote, so that they can update us on how things went. Hello, excuse me, how are you? Have you cast your vote?
Yes.
Okay. So far so good. How can you rate this exercise?
So unaweza kuniuliza kwa Kiswahili?
Sawa, unaweza zungumza Kiswahili. Unaonaje maneno imeendaje?
Maneno iko sawa. Naona maafisa wametulinda hapa vizuri.
Ndio.
Hakuna mwenye ataleta shida yote hapa. Yes.
Na kulikuwa na kwamba watu walikuwa na fununu kwamba wanaogopa kutoka kupiga kura kwa sababu ya zile vurugu ambazo zilishuhudiwa katika kampeni. Umeona kwamba hilo limeisha ama ni shughuli ambayo baadaye hapa tutaona watu wanaanza kujitokeza kuleta mambo yao kando?
Okay. Chenye naweza sema ni saa zingine tunaweza sema sini kama wetu hawajangia hapa kwa sababu kulingana vile nini shida ilikuwa hapo nyuma. Ndio maana hawajaingia, lakini najua wataingia kwa namba vizuri.
Na wewe nikikuuliza, kuna kitu ambacho mimi nimeona. Kuna wengi wanasema kwamba wale Gen Zs wataamua kura ya mwaka 2027. Lakini nikiangalia katika msururu huu ama katika foleni hizi siwaoni vijana. Wewe unasema nini kuhusu hilo?
Okay, kwa vijana siwezi sema vizuri. Juu yes, unalingana na saa zingine mtu alikuwa na shughuli. Sasa saa zingine ameenda na shughuli ndio baadaye atakuja. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, na wewe umeamka mapema. Yes. Unafanya shughuli gani na kwa nini umeamka mapema? Maybe unarudi shambani ama unaenda wapi kutoka hapa?
Okay, yenyewe shughuli sijawahi endea shughuli juu nilikuwa nataka nimalizane na hii election ndio sasa niendelee na shughuli zangu.
Shukrani sana. Tueleze jina lako tu, watu wa nyumbani waweza kutumia salamu baadaye.
Kwa majina yangu naitwa Moses Ochieng. Okay. Mimi ni mtu wa Kasipul hapa.
Asante Ochieng. Shukran sana. Odida, some of the sentiments from Ochieng, who is a voter here at Kasipul Primary School. So in the next few minutes or 30 minutes or so or an hour, we shall be heading to Kacheng Primary School in readiness to see how independent candidate Philip Aroko will be casting his vote. So we came here, we saw, and we shall be reporting who shall be conquering later on. Back to you in studio.
All right, Sydney, I like that you went there, you saw, and you are indeed conquering it. Thank you so much. We'll be coming back to you, of course, in due time as we continue with this wall-to-wall coverage of the by-election that is happening across 22 electoral areas. Are we heading to Kariobangi? Right. Let's head over to Kariobangi North. My colleague Duncan Mutua is on standby. There is an election here for the member of county assembly seat, of course, after the passing of the former MCA of this particular area. Now, Nairobi has been a relatively calm area. Duncan, maybe if you can tell us what is happening there. We can already see some activity on your background, but how can you assess the atmosphere?
All right, thank you Odida. Na tuko hapa katika eneo hili la Kariobangi North ambapo wakazi wa eneo hili watakuwa namchagua ni nani ambaye atakuwa yule ambaye atakuwa anawakilisha katika kaunti ya Nairobi. Na tukizungumzia kuhusu uchaguzi ambao wakazi wa eneo hili wameweza kujitokeza ili kuweza kumchagua yule ambaye atakuwa anaongoza. Tayari upigaji kura unaendelea na nitakuwa na kusonga hivi tu ni kuonyeshe je shughuli inaendeleaje kwa uzima. Na pia kuna wale ambao tayari wameweza kuwekeza, kuna wale ambao tayari wameweza kupiga kura ikiwemo mmoja kati ya wakazi wa eneo hili. Nitakuwa nazungumza naye. Hali vipi kakangu?
Hali iko sawa kabisa. Kwa jina naitwa George Okech kutoka hapa. Mimi ni mkazi wa hapa Kariobangi. Nimeshukuru sana, nimeliamuka mapema nikuje nipige kura yangu.
Wewe kama mkaaji wa eneo hili unapochagua kiongozi, wewe unatarajia nini kutoka kwa kiongozi ambaye utakuwa unamchagua?
Mimi nataka mabadiliko. Maendeleo ili mahali mzee wetu aliacha nataka huyu achukue hapo akiendelea mbele. Ili tukue na mabadiliko.
Umekuchukua muda hupi? How many minutes kuweza kupiga kura zako?
Hata sijamaliza dakika 2. Nimefurahi sana kwa sababu nimepiga kura hapa, lakini haijakuwa na tulikuwa na ile general election inakuwa refu, lakini sasa hii imekuwa sawa kabisa. Nimefurahi sana.
Imekuwa rahisi. Nashukuru sana. Kila rahisi. Na ni mmoja kati ya wakazi wa eneo hili ambao wameweza kupiga tu kura yao. Wanatueleza kuwa imekuwa rahisi, ameweza kupiga tu kwa muda wa chini ya dakika 2. Iwapo mpiga picha wangu ambaye ni Buju atakuwa anatuonyesha tu shughuli nzima, sababu hakuna ile poleni ama wakazi wapiga kura ambao wameingia hapa. Hakuna ile line refu ambayo iko hapo. Ni baadhi ya wapigaji kura wanapiga kura baada ya kifo cha Joel Munuvi ambaye alikuwa mwakilishaji wa wadi ambaye aliweza kufariki miezi michache iliyopita, na kuna viongozi kadhaa ambao wanawania, zaidi ya viongozi 16 ambao wanawania kitiji ili kuweza kuwawakilisha. Tukizungumzia viongozi hawa, baadhi ya viongozi ni Michael Ouma ambaye atakuwa ambaye amewania ama anasaka kuchaguliwa na tiketi ya ODM. Kumekuwa tuna zile ama ameweza kupigiwa debe sana na ODM. Kuna pia wapinzani wake kama vile Peter Kariuki ambaye atakuwa anakuja na chama cha KANU, na pia David Wanyoike ambaye ni wa DCP, na Julius Maina ambaye amejipigia debe sana na chama cha UDA. Ukiangalia tu hapo, wale ni wale ambao tunasema ni agent, wanaangalia tu kura jinsi ambavyo zinapigwa, angalia tu jinsi ambavyo zinapiga, angalia jicho ambazo wanatupa, wanaangalia wako imara kuhakikisha kura hizi zitakuwa zinaangalia. Iwapo tu Buju utuonyeshe upande ule mwingine ambapo mmoja kati ya wale wapigaji kura anapiga. Kumbuka wanasema kura yako ni siri yako, na unapofika katika eneo hili unaingia tu pale unapiga. Hakuna yule ambaye atakuwa anajua umepigia nani, ama hakuna yule ambaye atakuwa anajua je umepigia nani kura hii. Mtazamaji, ni eneo hili la Kariobangi North au Kariobangi North ward ambapo kiti hiki cha MCA kimeweza kuvutia wagombeaji 16. Je, kati ya wagombeaji wale 16, je ni nani ambaye atakuwa anachaguliwa? Na tukiwa hapa ambapo ni moja kati ya zile polling stations. Tuko katika Kariobangi North Girls Secondary School, na ni moja kati ya zile maeneo matano ambayo wakaaji wa eneo hili watakuwa wanapigia kura. Kuna Marura Primary School, Kariobangi North Day Nursery School na maeneo mengine. Basi nikiwa hapa mimi nitakuwa nafuatilia niweze kujua je ni kipi kinazidi kuchipuka, wakazi wanazidi kujitokeza. Sijaweza kuona wakazi wengi wakianza kujitokeza sababu sielewi kwa nini, lakini nitakuwa kueleza kwa nini baadaye nikiwa hapa katika eneo hili la Kariobangi North. Mtazamaji,
thank you so much, Duncan Mutue, for that detailed report. Duncan is reporting from Kariobangi North Ward, and according to IBC, out of the 2022 electoral areas, Kariobangi North has the highest number of cleared candidates for this, contesting for this particular seat. That is 16 candidates. I want us to cross over to Mumbuni North Ward, that is in Machakos County. My colleague Mwanambai is on standby. Mwanambai, good morning. You can see watu wachache hapo nyuma, but you are there, you're on ground. Tell us, what is the ground saying? How is the situation on ground?
Okay, good morning to, I'm getting loud and clear from Machakos. I'm at Manza Primary School. That is Miwani area, that is part of Mumbuni North Ward, and particularly 13,778 registered voters will be expected to cast their votes today, even though this morning only a few people have shown up for the exercise. And as you can see behind me, the exercise is still going on since morning, that is 6 a.m. till now, and it has been smooth. I'll just allow my camera person to show you what is happening. Just 4 streams, the stream 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the process is going on well. I just allow him to follow me inside stream 1 here to see what is happening inside here, and maybe talk to 2 or 3 of the voters exercising their national duty here at Mumbuni North. And as you can see here, it's just a line of voters. Yes, as you can see here, it's a line of voters ambao wanaendelea na kupiga kura kwa sasa, na tunaangalia zaidi hapa ndani shughuli hii vile inavyofanyika na vile imekuwa kufikia sasa. Hapa ndivyo hali ilivyo kwa sasa, ikiwa ni shughuli nzima ya kupiga kura tayari inaendelea. Kufikia sasa ni kwamba bado watu wanaendelea na kujitokeza, japo kwamba si kwa wingi ama laini kubwa ilivyotarajiwa, na kama ilivyosemekana maafisa wa IEBC kwamba uchaguzi huu hushuhudia watu wachache wakiendelea na kupiga kura ama kujitokeza kuweza kupiga kura. Hapa ndipo mpiga kura anapofika ili kuweza kuthibitisha kwamba ameweza kusajiliwa kama mpiga kura, na baada ya kuthibitishwa kama unavyomuona mmoja hapo, ataweza basi kupatiwa karatasi ya kupigia kura hii hapa na kuweza kumchagua yule ambaye anataka kupigia kura. Na baada ya kumaliza shughuli hiyo atakuwa anakuja hapa, hii pia ikiwa ni sehemu ambao ataweza kujaza karatasi hiyo ya kupigia kura. Na baada ya kumaliza hapo basi tutakuwa anaelekea hapa, na kama unavyoona kufikia sasa tayari kura zimepigwa nyingi, karibu inaelekea nusu ya hii sanduku ya kupigia kura. Kwa hivyo ndivyo shughuli ilivyo kwa sasa. Upande wa usalama ni kwamba maafisa wa polisi wanaendelea na kushika doria, na vile vile katika kituo hiki cha hapa Manza, hao pia ni wale ambao ni waangalizi ambao huweza kuangalia kwamba zoezi lenyewe limekuwa ni wazi na limeendeshwa kulingana na kama walivyotarajia wao wenyewe na vile vile kama ilivyo. So that is what is happening basically here in Mumbuni North this morning. Also still at the same polling station, we expect Wiper candidate Mr. Anton Kisoi will be casting his vote here at around 10 a.m. in the morning, and later we will also be going to Mungala polling station where UDA candidate Mr. Misi Mutoa also will be casting vote, and at around 9 a.m. the morning also Maendeleo chapter, that is Arson Wambua, will be casting his vote at a place called Kasinga Primary School. So basically that is the picture, what is happening this morning here in Mumbuni North. Remember, we expect a total of 13,778 voters maybe. They will show up and cast their votes today, and also from 5 to 6 we expect closing of the exercise this today, as the process goes on till midnight when counting will begin. So we will be here updating you and telling you more as the stories unfold from here in Mumbuni. Back to you, studio.
All right, thank you so much, Mwanambai, for that update from Mumbuni North Ward. And this by-election in this particular ward follows the death of the former MCA for Mumbuni North, that is Gideon Kavu, who died in 2023. Asante sana Mwanambai, and of course you'll be joining us later on in the course of the show. Once again, just a brief update on what is happening in the areas where we are covering. As you can already see, we are talking about one senatorial seat that is in Baringo, 6 National Assembly seats, 15 members of county assemblies. A total of 18 counties are heading to the polls today. A total of 181 candidates cleared by the IEBC. And just to give a breakdown of these areas in details, we're talking about Banisa constituency, Magarini, Mbeere North, Ugunja, Kasipul, and Malava. We've already given you an overview of these particular areas. And when we talk about county assembly seats, we have in Nyamira County 3 wards, that is Nyansiango, Nyamaya, Ekerenyo. And I should have started with Nairobi because it says charity begins at home. Right here in Nairobi, we have Kariobangi North. Turkana, we have 2 wards, that is Lake Zone and Nanam wards. In Bungoma, we have Kabuchai and Chwele wards. In Samburu, we have Angata Nanyokoi. These are the wards in Samburu. In Nandi, we're talking about Chemuno and Keptunyo. In Tana River, we have Chowani Ward, Garissa Fafi Ward, Kakamega Kisa East, Machakos County, Mumbuni North Ward, where my colleague Mwanambai was just there. And Narok County, we have Narok Town Ward. And finally, Kajiado County, we have Purko Ward. I want us to go back to Malava constituency. This time, my colleague Apollo Kamau is joining me live, and I can already see a lot of activity behind him. Apollo, good morning, and what can you tell us about the area where you're in, Malava constituency, this morning?
Good morning from Lunyu Primary School here in Malava constituency, where DAP Kenya party candidate Seth Panyako has just voted. He is accompanied by DAP Kenya Party leader Eugene Wamalwa. But as we are going to learn, there are some interesting development, and let's hear from Mheshimiwa Eugene Wamalwa. This morning we are hearing incidences of violence that have happened overnight. What went on?
Yesterday we did address the nation on very clear plans by the government to disrupt the voting, to manipulate the voting, and to do this, they were employing about 3 tactics. The opinion polls show that the government candidates are trailing the opposition candidates. Here in Malava, Honorable Seth Panyako was leading by 58%, followed by the UDA candidate, Ndakwa, at 38%. When you go to Mbeere, Karis was leading. And when you go to Magarini, Stanley Karisa Kenga was leading. We are in possession of their pre-marked ballots that are supposed to bridge the gap between the government candidates and the opposition candidates. Here in Malava, there are about 10,000 pre-marked ballots that have been brought here. In Magarini, another 10,000. But in Mbeere, they have taken 15,000. Now, this was out of the over 800,000 ballots that were printed in Greece. But the serialization was tampered with, and they never allowed the opposition and all participants to do the verification and the inspection by the law. This has created ballots that are unaccounted for. These are the over 30,000 ballots we're talking about. Now, to get these ballots in to bridge the gap between Panyako and Ndakwa, or between Karis and Mudende, or between Kenga in Magarini and Kombe, they must, first of all, use goons who are escorted by the police to cause violence. So their number one weapon of choice is violence. When we announced this yesterday, I didn't know within 3 hours, by the time I left Nairobi and landed here at home, they had from 8 to 9 o'clock already surrounded Seth Panyako's hotel, just a few kilometers down the road from Lunyu polling station where he votes. He just lives down the road at Downhill. He was with his dear wife who is here with us, and they were surrounded and they were attacked. Now, those who led the goons, we had Stanley Livondo, who has a reputation, having participated in Langata polls before, of violence and bribery. He was called Mr. Moneybags. We also had Nabina Bwera, that is the MP for the neighboring constituency of Lugari, who was actually the commander of these goons. And we had Rashid Echesa from Mumias West, who also has the reputation of violence. And all these were under the command of none other than Farouk Kibet, the president's personal aide. They raided this hotel for hours. Our candidate tried to reach out to the police. There was no response. He had to escape on a motorbike with his wife at night. And eventually, they broke in after the gates were locked. The police from Matete police station, using our police Land Cruiser, they are the ones who broke the gate and allowed access by the goons. So the police were working in cahoots with the goons to cause violence, and it was a deliberate attempt to assassinate our candidate because they have been unable in the last 5 weeks to bridge the gap. He has been leading in all polls, including UDA polls. So we want to tell this government that we are aware, and we told the country yesterday, no amount of violence or police harassment is going to change the will of the people. The heavy bribery that has gone on, including yesterday, the women rep of Kakamega, Elsie Muhanda, dishing out relief food, beans, rice, using non-food items, blankets, and mattresses, accompanied by the PS Beatrice Nyangala, using chiefs, sub-chiefs, to actually try and woo the people to vote for the government. So all these are election offenses. And the most blatant one is the extra ballots that they're trying to introduce. So apart from the attack on the candidate himself, We are aware that in the course of today, they are still going to try and cause violence. These goons, after the raid on Panyako's home last night, they have retreated. But in the course of the day, we are aware they are going to go to strongholds of our candidate to cause violence. Then the police will disrupt. And once that is done, there are presiding officers who are targeted to now bring in these ballots in that confusion. So we are aware of all this. And what we want to urge our supporters is that 10,000 ballots are not enough to change the will of the people. There are over 90,000 registered voters in Malava. Please come out. Mujitokeze. Musiuziwe uoga. We know Panyako is your choice. Is a people's choice. Don't allow your choice to be overturned by these tactics by William Ruto, Farouk Kibet, and their goons. Thank you.
Let's hear from Mheshimiwa Panyako. Mheshimiwa, what transpired last night?
As my party leader has said, there was a direct attempt to assassinate me and my wife. And this was led by the police and Stanley Livondo, Nabii Nabwera, Rashid Echeza, and the some MCs, Kinakivish and Kevin Mahelo. Of course, those are small fellows we have not been mentioning, but they are solidly behind it. They attacked. Livondo came to the hotel. He was leading. Livondo was the front. I've never been close to him before, but of course I've seen him on TV. So when he approached the hotel and I was called out, I went outside the gate and he told me, "Seth, come." He called me like his baby. I saw the gun. The gun was just right here. And I told him, "You want to see me? Come inside." I went back and sat, continued doing what I was doing. And then there was some kind of commotion, and they left. We didn't know that his people had scaled the wall and dropped in the hotel. So one of the guys, unfortunately, was left behind. So when these guys left, because I understand Livondo had signaled that he was going to come back.
All right, that is my colleague bringing us up to speed with what is happening currently in Malava. That is DPK candidate Seth Panyako speaking to the media. But before we cross over to Chewani Ward in Tana River County, our guests are already in the other studio with Dibal Aine. They will be joining us shortly. I don't know if they can just say hi. That we have Wilson Session, that is a veteran educator and unionist, Arnold Malibe, party leader, Progress Plus Alliance, and of course Fwamba NC Fwamba, a political analyst, and they will be giving us a detailed analysis of what they assess of the situation with regard to the by-election, as you can see them on your screen, our dearest viewer. Let's cross over to Tana River County this morning, Chewani Ward in particular. My colleague Abdulaziz is on standby. Good morning, Abdulaziz. How can you assess the atmosphere in Chewani this morning?
Asante sana Anodida, na kupata vyema kabisa nikiwa katika kituo cha upigaji kura kwenye shule ya msingi ya Hola mjini Hola, kaunti ya Tana River, ambapo wakazi wa eneo hili siku ya leo wameweza kujitokeza kuweza kuja kupiga kura katika eneo hili. Iwapo mpiga picha wangu ataweza kuonesha tu idadi ya wale waliojitokeza, alafu vile vile nami nitaweza tu kuzungumza na baadhi ya wapiga kura wa eneo hili. Kumbukwe kuwa Chewani Ward by election ama uchaguzi mdogo wa huku Chewani unafanyika. Hatua hii ni baada ya mwakilishi wadi wa eneo hili kufariki mnamo mwaka wa 2023 baada ya kuhusika kwa ajali. Kufikia sasa kura zilizosajiliwa ni zaidi ya 14,000 na vile vile vituo vya kupigia kura ni vituo 36, na vile vile wagombea wanaopigania ama wanaowania kiti cha udiwani ama uwakilishi wadi wa eneo hili ya Chewani Ward ni wagombea 16, ikiwemo wanawake 2 na vile vile wanaume 14. Basi bila shaka nitaweza tu kuzungumza wa eneo hili ambaye ni mama, pengine ukianza kwa majina yako kwanza, karibu kuweza kuzungumza na TV47. Ukianza kwa majina yako, unaitwa nani, alafu vile vile utuelezee, tunaona leo umejitokeza hapa, nini kilichokufanya ujitokeze uweze kupiga kura ukiangalia kamera?
Mimi naitwa Guyato Esha Barisa, ni mpigaji kura wa Hola Mission, kituo cha Chewani Ward. Tumejitokeza hapa asubuhi sana kupiga kura, kupigania haki yetu, tuchague yule ambao tunamtaka awe kiongozi.
Pengine matarajio yako ni yapi iwapo utachagua, ama pengine na kuuliza kuwa unatarajia nini kwa atakayeshinda uchaguzi huu?
Atakayeingia kwa uchaguzi huu, yule atakayeshinda awe ni wa kusaidia watu wote ambao kwamba wamemchagua, awasaidie kwa kila hali na mali.
Sawa, pengine kazi tayari ambaye ashaweza kupiga kura, pengine ukianza.
All right, we do apologize for that. And that is Chewani Ward in Tana River County. That is my colleague Abdul Aziz. And once again, just to brief you, this by-election is taking place after the death of former MCA, that is Hamisi Idide, who passed away in June 2023 after a road accident along the Gasen-Malindi highway in the Kanogoni-Malindi-Gasen area. Let's cross over to the other studio where my colleague, as I already alluded to, Dibal Aine, is already on standby with his panel of experts just to hear what they have to say with regard to today's by-election. Dibal.
Yes, indeed, and thank you so very much. Getting just a feel and flavor of what is happening on the ground. As you can see, a panoramic view of what is happening in the constituencies. For a turnout seems to be a bit, low in some areas. And we want to find out why there is no such a stimulation for, especially for the Gen Zs. Everyone was saying they should have taken, their voter or the voter registrations very seriously if they want to have a big inflection as far as the political dynamics in the country is concerned. But also this is a good litmus test for IBC. Already you can see from the editorial cartoons that we have in the dailies today that they, in that particular maternity ward, will they be able to deliver? Will it be a full start for the IBC from the beginning? And it seems just as we have been panning the cameras that all is well, and it is all sewn up for success at the end of the day, despite the fact that we have also the united opposition raising hesitations and, of course, taking special umbrage in some areas with the voter suppressions that we've had and the gangs that have been unleashed on some of the voters as well. So what is happening with these goons as well is what we want to follow up and just have a discussion with our panelists, who will be, of course, intermittently chiming in as we interrupt, of course, to go live on the ground where the action is.